Thank you, Dr. Mark Arazi, for joining us from France, and Sharon Noble, who will be joining us from British Columbia, Canada. Together, they will share how they have woken up the world with misleading information about phones and smart meters, and share information, the work that they have done with regulatory government organizations. We appreciate the time you've taken to prepare scientifically sound presentations based on globally recognized peer-reviewed research. Your presentations will show our C4ST members and guests the progress you are making, increasing national and international awareness. Cindy Franklin will also be joining us for our Q&A, as she was involved in the US and Quebec lawsuits and as an FCC petitioner regarding consumer injury and deception. Dr. Mark Arazi is a medical doctor and the president of Phonegate in France. In July 2016, Dr. Arazi launched an alert about overexposure of our mobile phones, which has since been referred to as Phonegate Health and Industrial Scandal. For the last 15 years, as a medical doctor, he has been particularly concerned by health issues related to mobile telephony. Among other things, he was spokesman for the French NGO and negotiator for the Grenelle de Onde, organized by the French government from 2009 to 2013. He has founded and chaired since March 2018 Phonegate Alert, with the aim of informing, protecting, and defending the hundreds of millions of mobile phone users with the support of international organizations, scientists, health professionals, lawyers, and journalists. In November 2020, he published a book entitled Phonegate, which retraces his years of investigations. Since June 2022, the English version is now available. His blog alerts citizens from around the world about the health issues related to mobile phones. Thank you, Dr. Arazi. If you could screen share. Thank you.
Thank you. So first of all, I would like to thank C4Cast for your invitation, and that Shelley and March for preparing this meeting. And also, I'm very glad that Phonegate is part of this meeting. We are going to talk about. I'm going to try, because now it's not only France who are concerning. You know, it's all the world, and I will propose you to make a little tour of what's going on in many countries about Phonegate. And Sharon, who is one of the members of our board in Phonegate Alert, will make a focus on what's going on, especially in Canada. Okay, so I have prepared some slides that I propose to share. Okay. It's okay for everyone. You see the slide. Thank you, Frank. So, as you understand, as I was saying, it's clearly not a French scandal. You know, it begins in France, but it's a global, an international scandal. And you will see that what happened in France was just the beginning of what we are going to show in all countries. So just because I think that Shelley say quite everything about that, just to say that now it's something like 20 years that I'm working on this issue. I'm getting older, and also that it was really important because during this period we had in all the world the COVID pandemic, and I didn't have time to write the book, and it was crazy that we had to have this pandemic that I have some time, because we were confined in our house, and yeah, so I think it's really important to say that, because in the books, I try to explain all the details that most of the time when I make interview for TV or documentary, I have never the time, and I will not have tonight today to explain all is going on in the Phonegate scandal. You see that we have a very important objective that the most important is to protect the consumers' health, the people. But what I was saying at the beginning, it's we are working with something that more than 50 countries in the world every year. So we are in contact with most of the organization and it's maybe why we are tonight together to talk about Phonegate in Canada. And also that what is important that we have a board with taking the decision like you are doing, but also we have a scientific board, and I'm very proud that people like Magda and Devra and David Carpenter and Professor Omgandi, and so we have many important experts who are working with us, and if we have questions, and we don't hesitate to say to our experts what they are thinking about this about our global action. So the most important to understand about Phonegate is to say that the SAR, I don't know if everyone is knowing about what is SAR, but SAR is a very bad indicator for protecting health. If you have something to memorize about this, this is that we industry use this indicator just for one thing, making people be able to connect all together in all conditions. And it's a major thing to understand. And what they have done is clearly to make like a storytelling, you know, we want to connect people. We make this indicator, SAR, and it was only to permit to the industry a good connection for our cell phone. Also, when we are talking about SAR, we are talking about thermal effects. We are not talking about non-thermal effects. And what is also important to understand, because when you talk with people, most of the people say, "Oh, there is no scientific proof that there is a problem with the cell phone." But what you have to understand that there is a scientific consensus on the thermal effect by of the cell phone exposure, and at this moment, the SAR doesn't measuring the non-thermal effects, and also we have to say that for the non-thermal effect, there is no scientific consensus. There is experts who are saying that there is effects, and the same experts pro-industry saying that there is no effect. So what's going on with this really bad indicator? They do all they can to connect people. So most of the SAR was testing in the way we are not using our cell phone. During something like 30 years, we have tested the cell phone at 15 to 25 millimeter of the skin. So I don't know if you have this word in English. We say in levitation. Levitation, you know, do you understand the word? No? So, it's so important that now, with the action we have been doing, we are near to force the French and European authorities to measure at 0 millimeter for all the SAR testing. One also, because you know there is, you will see that, but there is two regulations in the world. The ICNIRP, what we call the ICNIRP regulation, with an independent or NGO, and the FCC, Federal Communication Commission regulation. And you see that the measurement can be at 10 grams of tissue in Europe, 1 gram in the US. And just with this in Europe, every level of SAR will be increased by 3. For example, if you have something like 1.5 kilo, it will be 4.5, and you will see that. Also, because it was not sufficient, because you know that there is a very big competition between all the manufacturers, like Apple, Samsung, and so on. What they have done is to put inside the cell phone some spyware, like in Dieselgate, and to the spyware say, oh, we are in control, and then I will put the good level SAR, the good level of the SAR during the control. And now in France, and I can't detail that, but with all we have been doing, when the French agency is making the control, you will see in the new data they published that they inform that they have put all the spyware out of the possibility to change the level of SAR. Also, and because we have been talking a lot of 5G, it's very important to say that with the millimetric 5G at this moment, and we are talking with many people inside the industry, they don't know how really make a good measure about the millimetric 5G for cell phone. Also, you have to I don't know if I'm too much technical, but when we will be really in the 5G millimetric, we will need to have 2 different indicators, the SAR and the power density. And you know that for the moment, people don't know. If you say to someone, what is SAR? They don't know. They are not really interested by the SAR. And it will be much more difficult because we have 3 different SAR head, SAR trunk, SAR extremities, and you will have also power density. It's crazy. So when I was saying you have something like 150 countries who are using what we call ICNIRP regulation, and you see that it's 2 watts by kilo. I don't know if I can move because I have this. Oh yeah, okay, very good. 2 watts by kilo for 10 grams. So. And you see that for the other parts, and I will do, sorry, I don't know how to put this. Okay, yeah. And you see that now with the map, You can see that Canada and US are in green, and the other part are in black green. And you can see that something like 19 countries, US, Canada, India, are using FCC, regulation. And if we compare the ECNIRP regulation and FCC, now, before we launched Phonegate Alert, FCC was, we could say that was a little better regulation than European regulation. But now that we obtain that the cell phone are testing like really near the body, now it's not so clear that FCC it's better regulation. Almost, and Sharon will explain you that because she has data from your telecom regulator, that we can show that most of the cell phones were already in the Canadian market are tested at 10 or 15 millimeter of the body, and Sharon will explain that to you. So we had a very important documentary in France from our national TV, and the journalists who made the documentary make special tests from some of the most. It was in 2020, so it was iPhone 8, you can see, and there was also in iPhone 5, and you see that at here. I don't know if you see the right part. It's at 0 millimeters. You see that there is no cell phone when you test it at 0 millimeters who are conform to the regulation. And it was tested at 10 grams. And then on the left side, you see in yellow what happened when we test it at 1 gram. You see that for an iPhone 8, it's nearly 11 watt by kilo. And for an iPhone 5S, it was 12 watt by kilo. So much more, 6 times more than the regulation allowed. So it's very important for us in Europe to understand that, because all the SAR all the cell phones who are tested are non-compliant at all, and are really dangerous. But I will say that no cell phone sold in France, in Europe, and in all the world is safe for the users. So the action we have been doing when we begin, it's to force the French national agency, because they kept secret for years, since 2012. They kept secret the reports they have done at the real level. What they have done in 2012, they say, oh, maybe there is a problem. We are going to test the cell phone at 0 millimeters. But they do not speak to anyone about that. And in 2016, when the national agency, ANSES make a special report, they just say in the report that 9 out of 10 cell phone tested by our national agency was not conform. Oh, I read that and say, oh, it's crazy that how it's possible. And what was crazy, it was so evident that I could ask for the report, and I say, oh, ANFR, our French agency, oh, give me the report, and then begin the scandal. And I explained that in the book. And all the clothes were those were closed. The door were closed, and it was impossible to have the data. So I make legal action, and I force. It takes two years, more than 2 years, and of legal action, of battle, and I force the French government to publish. And now, what is really important, and I would like to hear that we have a national French website with something like 1,000 reports of the cell phone, 2012 to now. Okay, so it's a very important database. And when I say a report, it's the laboratory report, something like 40 pages report for each cell phone. It's not just the level of the sound. And one of our major problems is that it would take too much energy, and we have not enough people to work on all the data we have at this moment. So with this, it was a good victory about to obtain that, and then for the first time, in all the world, in 2018, we obtained that the first cell phone was withdrawn. For the first one, it was the Happy 30 with from the operator Orange, and it was something like 100,000 model was being withdrawn from the market. Okay, and it was wow, the first time we obtained that there was a control, and now you see we have to change all this like all the time because it changes all the time. So we have 40 models, mobile phones, who has been pinned for exceeding some limits. So there is two way for the manufacturer to make it regular. First, the withdraw, but it's the position of the national agency for some of the cell phone, and most of the time they want the manufacturer to update the software. We are not really okay with this update, because it costs much less money to industry, but also when you update with the software, you don't have the same cell phone, and it works much less well than it was working. What I could say also, and it's new, like now from 1.5 years, there is fines who are manufacturers. They have symbolic fine. It's something like $10,000. But now they have fines if they don't if they exceed the sun limits. And you will find, because this list is updated by our NGO every time, and you will find it in our website. And also, I would like to say that there was you will find this information in reading the website. There is 250 other cell phone that our national agency, in a special report in 2019, because they make what we call the Phonegate report. The French government say to our national agency what's going on with this cell phone exceeding the SAR limits, and our national agency makes this special report, and what they ask it's so important. They say they have to withdraw all this or update all the cell phone was being put in the market before 2017. Okay, and it was something like because we had 250 models was being tested by our national agency, and just after that there was COVID. And it was impossible to talk about nothing else, about just COVID. And at this moment, all those cell phone has not been withdrawn, but our national agency asked for the withdrawal. And I think it was really important to say that it's not just 40 mobile phones. It's something like 300 mobile phones who are concerned by the exceeding the SAR limits. So here you see we are very, very handsome. So what we try at this moment is to make, because France is in Europe, we don't think it's normal that we do quite a good job. When I say that, I'm very optimistic. But what we obtain in France, we want to obtain it in all Europe. So, with the help of many maps in European maps, we have been many times invited to European Parliament to say that we have to change something. And I was invited a few days ago, it was the 7th February, to talk directly to the European Commission, to the service of the European Commission. What I would like also to say, that you understand that we have made very good progress in France. We obtained that after the report of our health national agency, that France make a formal objection to measure the trunk SAR at 0 millimeters. And I think if you are interested to see what was writing by France, not Phonegate alert, France. So for you in Canada, I think those documents, it's the same in the US, can be very useful for all the action we can do together. And it's why I wanted to talk about that. So also, at the end of 2022, with a very important partner with name European for Safe Connection, we have launched a very important collaborative campaign, and the objective is always the same. All we have obtained in France, to have it in all the European countries. It's one of our most important goal for this year. And we will, I hope that at the end, or maybe we will go and say, well, what we obtain now in France will be in all countries in Europe. You imagine the importance of this goal. So what we have done, we have been writing, translating and writing to all the telecom regulator in Europe. So you see that now we have 15 countries who have already received this letter. Netherlands, Belgium, Italy, Germany, Denmark, and Slovenia, Estonia, Sweden. Greece was the last one. And also we force all the telecom regulator to answer us. And so you see that we receive from Czech Republic, Slovakia, Estonia, Sweden, Denmark, Netherlands, and the last one was Austria. And every week we are making new progress. And as you see, and as I was saying, it's one of our most important action at this moment in Europe. Oh, well, you know, we know everyone is knowing that Swiss, they are very protecting, a very protecting country. I think that most of you understand that in Switzerland, it's a very special country for that. But what we have done with because in all countries, what we are doing is with citizens of the country and with Swiss citizens. What we have done is we make a lot of Swiss deputy who write to the Federal Council, and what we obtain. I will read the answer we received in December. You know, it was a few weeks ago, because what they have to reply was, after extensive research, a working group found that as the legislation currently stands, there is no competent market surveillance authority in Switzerland for the health aspect of RNA products. Is it something crazy? 40 years they are selling a cell phone, and just now it's something like 3 years we are working on this, and we force Swiss authority to say that they are not making the job. They have to say that, and there was something like 10 or 15 big media in Switzerland, in French, in German, in Italian, who say that it was official that there was this problem. And for the moment, they do nothing. Just they think about the problem, you know. But I think that maybe they will have some legal problem in a few years. So now, just we are going to talk just a few about what's going on in US. I know that you will have also a meeting with Theodora and Devra, and Theodora and Devra are a member of the board and the scientific board. I would like really to thank Sam Rowe, because if you read my book, first of all, and Devra, I would like to thank Maris. I don't know if she is going to listen to this meeting, but Maris is from Switzerland, and when we begin the action in France, they send me a simple message to say, "Oh, do you like me to help you to translate it in English?" Oh, I say, "Oh, yeah, great." And it changed everything, because at the first time we were just talking in French. So there was just French people who were interested about that. And just when a few weeks after Mary's began this work, I received the first message from Devra. And I would like really to say that Devra make a real difference, because I will not be there to discuss with you, because what Devra is a very famous scientist and chairman of Environmental Health Trust. But she say, "Oh, what's going on with this guy?" Because I was unknown from no one in the world. I say, "Oh, you have to look at what's going on with Marc Arazi in France." And what said Deborah was so important, because at this time, she opened to our organization, to me, most of the doors of all the organization in the world. So I would like to thank to Deodora and Deborah, because I was invited in the United States in 2017 for the first time. I remember that Franck was invited to. You remember that? And she was the first meeting in the US. So also after that, I would like to say that with Samuel, I received an email in the beginning of 2018 from a journalist of Chicago Tribune, and he said, "Oh, I'm looking at the work you are doing about the data of the French National Agency. I'm very interested. Can we discuss about that?" And for a few months, I didn't know who were Samuel, because I didn't go to Google. And once, I don't know why, I have been to Googleize Sam, and I see, wow, I go and see my wife Nadine and say, wow, she is Pulitzer Prize, 4-time finalist of the Pulitzer Prize. I was crazy to imagine that. And what he has done make a real difference now, because with the work we have been doing for something like one year and a half, he revealed the Phonegate scandal in the Chicago Tribune. He makes special tests from Apple, Samsung, and Motorola. And if you have time, you see the video. We have been invited and to an interview, Sam and me, for the French TV. And really, if you have just, it takes 10 minutes, but if you listen the interview we had together, it's really crazy what you say about Phonegate. And really, you could go on our website to hear. It's in English, because we were talking with Sam in English. So after that, in US, it was like we expect to do with the US. 4 days after, Elizabeth Fagan was launched the first legal class action against Apple and Samsung. 4 days after. So, and now we have, you see, action of many lawyers with Elizabeth. Also, you have the action. I don't know if you are part of the action against FCC and the victory obtained in August 2021. But I don't know what happened now, because I don't see nothing moving after this victory. And now also, and I would like really to appreciate that we are part of the action now to the Supreme Court, because I think we are not going to talk about that, but just inside way of watching this legal action. Is it the FCC who is going to have the regulation, or the states, the US states? Well, it's not really the discussion is not really about the risk and the lie of the industry on the cell phone. So after that, Canada. Just because I'm not going to talk about what's going on more in details, but I would like to say that there was a very important legal decision. I'd like to say Charles O'Brien, who was the lawyer who managed this class action. And there is a class action for the first time authorized in Canada. So you are the best, because this is the first time in France we don't arrive to this result, but it happened. And I would like to say that maybe, surely, Sharon make the difference. Because I would like to explain you how it happens. It was the same time, a week before, Sharon write me and say, "Oh, we have the data," and we knew that there was, in the same times, the case was going on in a week after that. And I've never seen that. We were in contact with Charles and his team, and we sent it all the information, and we were copy to the mail sent to the judge and all the lawyers and the lawyers of Apple and so on. And it was indirect, during 3 days. Night and day, it was like that. We were receiving mail, we answer mail, and they were sending immediately to the judge. And you can see that in the report of the judge, because Apple and Samsung doesn't want this data to be part of the legal action. And the judge said it was so important that they will be in. So Sharon, well done. It was for Canada, and Sharon will explain you in details what's going on. So here, just to see that what we want, and will not be too long, that all we have been talking during this presentation will happen in all countries. It's the case in Canada. You see that it's the case in many countries now, but what we would like, because there is a lot of countries. So the work of Phonegate Alert is that we obtain that the data of the cell phone test will be public everywhere. And if there is a problem with the cell phone, that everywhere, you will have the same information for the consumers. And I think we can, in working all together, we can obtain this in the next year, because our NGO is 5 years old. It's his birthday in March. It's our birthday, of the 5 years. But during 5 years, 2 years of COVID, and you see that we have been growing very fast. But I think that we can't wait for the government or for the manufacturer to move. So it's our action will make the difference. So I was talking about that also at the beginning with Frank, and I think I will insist about that. It's a measure, the most important information I will give you on this meeting is this. The risk is real. Industry is doing all they can. They have put a lot of study with a lot of conflict of interest, saying that there is no problem. And all those studies are used in our national agency, like ANSES, and now also by other national agencies, maybe the Canadian one, and also by the World Health Organization. It's why a few weeks ago, with all the French partners, we say stop to ANSES. We are not going to talk anymore. You have to change. If not, you will not have our presence to the committee. And also, what happened 2 days after we stopped, the committee, the scientific committee of ANSES, say for this that all we have said was right. that there was a major problem with the scientific expertise of our national agency. So you imagine 2 days after, it was in all the media. So to finish, I would like to thank you for your attention. You have our website, the link to our website here. If you want to have more information, you have the book in French and in English for people who prefer to have it in French or in English, an ebook also. You can follow us because we give many information every day. There is so many things we are doing, and also you can sign our petition. Thank you. I will put this.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Arazi, for sharing with us the remarkable work you have done for decades to raise awareness with regulatory and government organizations and communities about misinformation in an effort to prevent people from experiencing potentially life-threatening physical injuries from cell phones. The Phonegate report was very extensive, which draws attention to the mobile phone models which exceed the SAR limits. And this report helps to get models withdrawn from the French market or to get some manufacturers fined, including the 27 countries of the European Union to raise awareness among stakeholders can significantly increase awareness and improve cell phone regulations. Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm going to stop recording now.